Hello, everyone, my construction enthusiasts. Good evening. Today is our day one for construction virtual assistant training. I'm sorry, I was trying to do it kanina, but it's not letting me do the streaming. So I hope that you guys can participate in my next training. But yeah, for today, I'll be doing the construction virtual assistant day one training, okay? So I will just give you a schedule of what you will learn day by day in this training. So day one will be the training overview and empowering skills. Day two is the introduction to construction industry. Day three is introduction to construction software tools. Day four is construction document management. Day five is estimating, bidding, and budget management. Day six is construction safety and compliance. Day seven, client and contractor relations. Day eight, preparing for success as a construction virtual assistant. Day nine, time tracking, reporting, and productivity tools. Day 10, preparing for success as a construction virtual assistant. So, welcome to this construction virtual assistant training program. My objective in this one is to equip aspiring construction virtual assistant with the knowledge, skills, and tools necessary to provide efficient remote support to construction professionals. So, whether you're an architect, you're a civil engineer, electrical engineer, as long as you are in the construction industry, you're in. Or even if you're just an aspiring construction virtual assistant, meaning zero background in the industry, you're still welcome. The mission of this training is to empower individuals with the specialized skills, knowledge, and tools required to provide exceptional remote support to construction professionals. We aim to bridge the gap between the growing demand for virtual assistants and the complex needs of the construction industry by having one goal. And that goal is to create a community of highly competent, resourceful, and reliable virtual assistant in the construction industry who are essential contributors to the success of construction projects worldwide. So, what will you be expecting to learn from this day one training? Of course, first is industry basics. I will introduce you the fundamentals of construction projects, terminology, and workflows to give you a solid foundation in understanding how the industry operates. Definitely, the construction industry process here in the Philippines is different overseas. So, I will give you a glimpse and behind the scene looks of how it works there, and you can just make your own comparison. Also, you will learn the responsibilities from the document management and communication to project coordination and scheduling. You learn the key tasks that the VAs handle daily. You will also learn remote work skills, so we will cover the most effective tools and best practices for remote communication, task management, and collaboration to ensure you can deliver excellent results from anywhere in the world. I will also be teaching you where to apply for construction virtual assistant. So whether you are in the safety, um, whether you are a safety professional, whether you are an estimator, a quantity surveyor, an electrical engineer, um, what have you. Okay. Um, I will provide platforms where you can apply for the job. You will also learn the different construction tools and softwares used in the modern construction world. And yes, we will be covering the most effective tools and best practices for remote communication, task management, and collaboration to ensure that you can deliver excellent results from anywhere in the world. And by the end of this training, I will make sure that you will have the comprehensive understanding of the construction industry overseas and the essential skills required to become a successful construction virtual assistant. Okay, so who should take this course? This course is for aspiring virtual assistants looking to specialize in construction, current administrative professionals looking to expand into the construction field, and yeah, entrepreneurs wanting to offer remote services to construction firms. Can be. So if you're ready, let's have our day one. Welcome to Construction Virtual Assistant Training Day 1. So if you're diving into this kind of role, you have to become an effective construction virtual assistant, you need a unique blend of construction knowledge, administrative knowledge or expertise, technical skills, and interpersonal skills. So here are the lists of the skills that you need in order for you to become a successful construction virtual assistant. Of course, first you need to have a construction knowledge, okay? So you need to learn the basics in the industry. you have to have an understanding of the terminologies, construction terminologies. So, iba-iba ang ang terminologies natin dito sa Pilipinas is not the same as what they use overseas. So, in the US, you cannot hear, or the word foreman is not existing in the US. What they have there is a site superintendent. And overseas, you will not be called just a contractor. You will be identified whether you are a GC or a general contractor, whether for residential or for commercial projects, or you are a subcontractor. So, alam na natin, pag sinabing subcontractor, this has specialized skill set. Okay? So, pag sinabing, they do drywalling. So, they subcontract for drywalling. So, ang ginagawa nila, majority is pagda-drywall. When you say HVAC, subcontractor HVAC, so sila yung nagsa-subcontract, sila yung subcontractor for the HVAC. In the US, they also use RFI, or request for information. I'm not sure if we use that here in the Philippines a lot, but in the US, yes. Change order is existing here in the Philippines, and it's also existing in the US and other countries. Punch list is also existing here in the Philippines. I'm sure that you've heard that so often after the project, before we turn over the project, right? We do the punch list so that when the contractor go to a walkthrough with a client, they're holding this punch list. Pero sa US, they don't do this with a client kasi. So, they do it with themselves muna. They check. Just to make sure that before the turnover, okay na siya. Lahat na address na. Construction documents. Construction documents are, it consists of the architectural, structural plans, all the set of plans that is needed for permitting. It also includes the contract. It includes everything that has to be, everything that is needed for permitting are called construction documents overseas. And I'm sure it is also the same thing here in the Philippines, just a different terminology maybe. Schedule. Both Philippines and overseas, we use this terminology. Inspection, yes, we also use that here in the Philippines, but it's widely used in the US because the US, medyo talagang mahigpit ang compliance nila. So, every after work na natatapos nila, every after major work, they really request for inspection. So, those are the construction terminologies, just the basic ones. So, you will encounter more as we move along the training, but those are just a few construction terminologies that is being used by construction virtual assistant. Okay, so in the US, there are 5 phases, or 5 project phases. And I'm sure here in the Philippines, ganun din. But in the US, Australia, New Zealand, there's a pre-design, which is the project initiation. The pre-construction wherein there's already a design, procurement, construction monitoring, and post-construction. So as we all know, pre-design is more on the project planning. Pre-construction is on the design part. Procurement is, you know, getting trades, who will be providing us the materials and sometimes the labor that we will need in our project. Then construction and monitoring, it's already the actual construction phase and the post construction. So that's after the turnover of the project. So the key roles, okay, we have to know this if we will be working as a construction virtual assistant. As I mentioned earlier, not all the terminologies are the same as what we have here in the Philippines. So kung dito, sanay tayo na tawagin si foreman in the US and in Australia and in New Zealand. Well, in New Zealand, sometimes they have their site superintendent as foreman. But overseas, especially in the US, they call their foreman as site superintendent. And the site superintendent is always responsible for overseeing the day-to-day operation on a construction site. So lahat ng ginagawa ni foreman in the Philippines ay ginagawa din ni site superintendent. So, iba lang ang tawag sa US. So, sa Philippines, we call the site superintendent as foreman. And in the US, we call the foreman site superintendent. There you go. Next, the site manager. Okay, so here in the Philippines, it's very rare that we have a site manager, depending on the scale of the project. So if it's really a big project, yes, we do have site manager. In the US, they have a site manager. Well, in my experience, we used to have a site manager for our commercial projects. So these are big projects, but not super large scale. Yung medyo big na siya. So, the site manager, um, the site superintendent rather, is reporting to the site manager. So the site manager is the one overseeing the overall operations and progress in the construction site. Okay, so he or she has to ensure that the project is completed efficiently, safely, on schedule, and within the budget. So, yun po ang role ni site manager. Inspector, all construction work complies with building code standards and project specifications. So, overseas, they are very strict when it comes to inspections. That's why, well, different countries, based on my experience, different countries has different process in terms of acquiring permits. In my experience in New Zealand, before they construct the project, they already have all these permits, basic permits. In the US, yung iba, nag-i-start na yung project, nakuha na nila yung mga basic permits. Like, of course, building permit, um, uh, plumbing, electrical, flood permit. Kasi may ibang states sa US like Florida, floodplain, yan, floodplain permit. in Florida, they usually have flood there kasi Florida is surrounded by waters. So, maraming either dagat or basta maraming napapaligiran siya ng bodies of water. So, um, pag umulan doon, medyo malakas, medyo babahain na siya. So, yung mga structures doon, bago ka magtayo ng structure, titignan mo muna, may ginagamit na tool, and i-check mo kung nasa flood zone ba siya. If so, kailangan mong mag-acquire ng ganitong permit. Kailangan mag-comply because if it's not, then definitely hindi ka papayagan na i-construct ang structure na yan. Whether that structure is as small as a storage room, kailangan magko-comply ka sa requirement um ni city. Project engineer, yeah, they call sometimes, well, majority or most of the time, they call the person processing the permit, managing the technical aspects of the project as project engineer. So back in the days, I started as a project engineer in the construction industry overseas. So I used to be a project engineer. So I am responsible for every technical aspects ng project. And last but not the least, construction project manager. So eto na. Yeah, construction project manager, which is not something that um we don't always have here in the Philippines, depending on the scale of the project, probably. If it's a big project, then we have construction project manager. Sa ibang bansa, they use a construction project manager even if you're just building a house. They have a construction project manager. They highly rely on the construction project manager. Iba ang role ni contractor kay construction project manager. So, there, just giving you an idea. Of course, after after I have introduced you to the different roles or key roles in the construction industry overseas. Okay, so um, we've already discussed about the construction terminologies, the project phases, the key roles. So now we will be talking about the project lifecycle knowledge. Um, in back in the days where when I was still working here in the Philippines, um, as my dad's assistant. So um, I haven't experienced or I haven't encountered this type of tools because back in the day, we only use Excel. So I'm sure na nakaka-relate kayo doon kasi um, you know, uh, part of our it's not, well, back in the days, hindi pa naman talaga ginagamit yung mga project management tools. We really don't have that back then. But currently, due to the um, due to technology and innovation, the construction industry started to use project management tools. And these project management tools are very helpful in terms of, keeping everything in one place. So, um, noon, no, you will have to write a contract, typewriter or computer, and then send an email, and then save it to a folder in your computer, right? So that's how it works back then. But due to innovation, meron na tayong ginagamit na project management tools. And here are the two examples of the project management tools na sobrang sikat ngayon. Um, First is Contractor Foreman. So, if you can see, Contractor Foreman, meron silang um, different modules, and those modules are designed to help whether you are a contractor, a subcontractor, or a project manager, to make your job easy. So, if you can see, um, meron din silang for service tickets. So, if I will have more time, once we get into detail of discussing this type of project management tools, I will definitely discuss this in detail so that you have an overview or you have a background of how this tool works para pagdating ng time na mag-a-apply kayo as virtual assistant or construction virtual assistant, you have the knowledge and you have the idea of, if you will be interviewed and they will ask, oh, what type of project management software do you have? Then you can proudly say, I know what contractor foreman is. I know I'm exposed to contractor foreman. I'm exposed to builder trend. So builder trend is also the same as contractor foreman. Um, they're both project management tools and they're both being used by contractor, subcontractor, or project manager. So if you can see in this picture, no, makikita niyo yung scheduling. So I've used Buildertrend as well in the past, and it's very reliable in terms of, making my day-to-day job easy because I get to document everything, and I get to store everything in one system, one software. So those are the project management tools. Syempre, if we have project management tools, we also have what we call the document management tools. Okay, so as what I've been saying, noon we only store our files in a folder in our computer. So ngayon we have Dropbox, we have Google Drive. So those are the two prominent document management tools that is being highly being used in the US and in other countries in the construction industry. So, some softwares like Contractor Foreman and Builder Trend can integrate with this document management tool. So, for example, si Contractor Foreman, magsasave siya ng documents sa loob ni Contractor Foreman and madediretso na siya kay Google Drive. Or either way, magsasave kay Google Drive, magsasave siya diretso kay Contractor Foreman. And I think it works the same with Builder Trend, but I'm just not very sure. So, itong mga construction software na mention ko sa inyo earlier, they can integrate with other tools and softwares. That is useful in the construction industry. So, para ba siyang one-stop shop na lang? There. So again, the document management tools is Google Drive and Dropbox Business. So sila yung pinaka-prominent and they are highly being used in the construction industry. So another software is the scheduling software. In the construction industry, scheduling is very important, right? Because we know that time is always of the essence in the construction business. We should always have to meet our deadline, or we should finish on time or ahead of time, but never late, because we know that there are um, consequences, um, penalties that we can incur if we fail to meet the deadline. Okay, and that's the reason why technology, or yeah, people created this scheduling software. So again, balik tayo noon ng panahon. Noon, we use Excel or Gantt. Okay? Due to the evolution of so many things in the industry, ayan, nabuhay na si scheduling software. So one most prominent scheduling software that we use is Project Libre. So this software is really intended for scheduling purposes lang. Okay? So another is Microsoft Teams. So I'm not really sure if you guys know how to use a scheduling software, but in I think it's in my day 2 or day 4. Okay, I will be teaching you how to use a scheduling software, at least one of them, just so you have a background on how it works. Okay. Okay. So we're done with the construction knowledge. Now we need to know the technical skills that we need to have, okay, and the technical skills in construction software. So there are different softwares that's being used in the construction industry, as we all know. And kanina lang, I talk about Contractor Foreman and Build a Trend, which are a project management software. We have the drafting or the drawing software. So sila yung AutoCAD, Revit, Chief Architect, and if nagre-render ka, may Enscape, um, may what's this? Marami. There are so many drawing and drafting tools that we can use, and mas maganda kung marunong kayong gumamit nitong mga drawing or drafting software, especially AutoCAD. Um, SketchUp, yon. Marami rin gumagamit ng SketchUp. Um, well, for sure, being in this industry, whether you are an engineer or an architecture graduate, I'm sure that you've experienced using this type of software, right? Especially the AutoCAD. Yun. For cost estimating software, there are different types of cost estimating software in the industry right now. Um, one of those will be, well, ang ginagamit ko is Procore. Um, I will be, well, I will be giving you, or I will be showing you, or I will be probably just teaching you how to use each of the softwares that we use, just so you have a background and knowledge of how it works. Okay, at least you can try it on your own, um, or probably you've been using other types of cost estimating software. You can also comment it down below. So, isa sa pinaka-prominent na cost estimating software that we use right now is Procore. Um, Also Bluebeam, um, PlanSwift. Yung pangmaliitan, may bago eh. Um, Buildern, no? So, how it works, as we all know, i-upload mo yung plan, um, susukatin mo yung each area, and then gagawa ka. Basta it's very intuitive. These softwares are designed to help you um, do your cost estimating much easier. Hindi yung magmamanual ka na sukat. So, noon, how we do our estimate, pag gagawa kami ng estimate, so, babalik sa plan, sukat, and then balik sa Excel sheet. So, yeah. So, now, we do have cost estimating softwares na, which makes the life of an estimator much easier. Same goes with the quantity takeoff tools. So, marami na ring quantity takeoff tools na ginagamit these days. So, just recently, um, uh, my friend asked for me to do um, a quantity takeoff for her. And what I use is, well, I only use the free version. Kasi medyo expensive din ang mga softwares na to. You really have to buy them. So, what I use is Bluebeam. But I also use Procore. So, either of the two. But there's also Autodesk Takeoff software. It's just that I haven't tried using it. So don't worry, guys. I'll make sure that you get to have an overview of each of these tools just so you have an idea and have a background of how it's being used kung wala pa kayong background. If you have, then it's much better. Okay? Collaboration tools. Okay. Sam, what is a collaboration tools? Now, if you're gonna work overseas or if you're gonna work remotely, or if you're gonna work as a virtual assistant, okay, the most important way or means to communicate with your clients or with your team is um is either, you know, hindi na kasi uso yung Skype, hindi na uso yung ano ba ba yung noon? Yahoo Messenger. So right now, what we use is Slack. So we use Slack to communicate with our teams. WhatsApp. So yung WhatsApp, sobrang gamit na gamit sa akin yon. Kasi meron sa ibang bansa, meron din sa Pilipinas. I also use WeChat because uh, I have a client, I have a contractor who is a Chinese, and yung karamihan ng crew niya is Chinese. So, we use WeChat to communicate and to collaborate. Um, what else? Zoom. Okay. We use Zoom for meeting. We use Zoho. So there are so many collaboration tools existing right now, so that we become effective in our roles as a virtual assistant or as a construction virtual assistant. So gamit na siya these days. Okay? So now we're done. I'm done talking about technical skills in construction software. So importante po na meron tayong background or meron tayong alam on how to use at least one of these softwares. Okay? One of each of these softwares. So at least pag in-interview tayo or tinanong tayo ni client, normally a contractor in the US. So, Sam, do you know any project management software? Oh yes, yes sir. I know two or three construction project management software. And how do you use it, or do you know how to use it? So ganun yun. Uh, Americans, Australians, they're very straightforward. So, um, you know, it's an A to A question and answer. Ganun ang tanungan. And kung ano yung tinanong, kailangan yun din ang sagot. Uh, um, walang bulaklak. Ganun. What else? Yun. It's imperative that alam natin or may idea tayo kung ano tong mga construction softwares na to na ginagamit sa industry. Okay? So now let's go to the third skill na dapat meron tayo to become a successful construction virtual assistant. Of course, we need to have administrative and organizational skills. Okay? So for administrative skills, dapat we know how to time manage. Okay? It's important that we know how to time manage. Record keeping. Okay, so I think earlier I've discussed about the Google Drive and the Dropbox business. Okay, so those are examples of where we keep our documents and records. Also, you need to have at least a basic financial management. Okay, hindi mo talaga kailangan maging accountant or alam mo yun, maging CPA. Just a background in bookkeeping. Kasi, um, as a construction virtual assistant, you might be wearing many hats. Okay? You might be wearing many hats. Been there and done that. So, lahat as in. So, si Cheryl or si Sam ay isang construction project manager pero she also does the record keeping. She also does some estimating. She also does some interior design. So, dapat equip ka ng skills. Kasi the more skills you have, the valuable you become in the company. Okay? So aside from financial management skills, data entry skills is also important. So kailangan accurate, kailangan mabilis, pero accurate. Okay? So when you're doing data entry, it has to be very accurate. Okay? So now let's go to organizational skills. Ano ba yung organizational skills na magagamit natin sa work as a construction virtual assistant? So, unang-una na dyan is yung project coordination. Okay? But Sam, I am not a project coordinator. Again, if you will be working as a construction virtual assistant, you will be wearing many hats. And one of those is becoming a project coordinator itself. So, kailangan marunong ka mag-project coordinate. Okay? So, um, in project coordination, kailangan your main goal is to make sure that you know all the um, all about the project. Okay, you know where you're currently at. Okay, so that you know when you should finish. You should know how much the budget is. Okay, kasi sometimes the project coordinator also becomes the assistant of the project manager. So, kailangan meron ka talagang project coordination skills. Okay? All right. Another type of organization skills is the task delegation. Okay. So in the construction industry, um, you need to have this um, skills on how to delegate the task to your crews, and dapat medyo uh, ano tayo dito, medyo maayos ang pagbibigay natin ng task sa kanila. It has to be clear, so you have to um, tell them what needs to be done. Kailangan it has to be specific, okay? You need to have a goal. You have to tell them what their goals are and what you expect for an outcome, okay? So in task delegation, you have to determine which tasks are most urgent or most important. So dun mo malalaman kung kanino mo ibabato ang mga task, no? Because dyan napapasok yung knowing your team, kasi dapat kilala mo ang capacity ng every member of your team para alam mo kung kanino mo ibabato yung task. For example, uh, kailangan natin ng uh, renovation. Let's say, renovation ng kitchen. Okay? So, ano ba yung gagawin? Strip off the the walls, remove the tiles, mga ganon, right? So you know how you should know where to give those tasks. You should know where to delegate those tasks to. Okay, so you have to make sure that you choose the right person to do the job as well. So that's very important in task delegation. And it's important that you give clear instructions para they understand, okay? They understand what exactly to do. Okay? All right. Parang naghang yata ako. Okay, so next is resource management. Okay, resource management. In resource management, uh, this is more of looking for resources like trades. Okay, so for example, your boss will tell you, um, go find a trade for this job. Okay, so we should be very resourceful. Dapat alam natin kung kanino tayo tatakbo, kung kanino tayo pupunta, whether, well, of course, you have to identify first, okay, what type of resources are you looking for, okay, whether it's a human resource, so mostly human resource, mga tao, trades, okay, suppliers, vendors, yan yung kadalasang resource na hinahanap natin sa trabaho natin as a construction virtual assistant. So, dapat very resourceful tayo um, sa role na yan. Okay, next is workflow optimization. Workflow optimization. Okay, in workflow optimization, it involves analyzing and improving processes to enhance efficiency, of course, reduce waste, and increase productivity within a project. So, um, may guide in workflow optimization. Okay? So, dapat ma-identify mo and ma-map out mo yung current workflow. So, you have to document it. Okay? So, there's a process on how to create a workflow and how to optimize it. Um, you have to make sure that you have to analyze the workflow efficiently, and you have to set clear objectives as well, just to make sure that you know where you're going. Okay, because if you have the objectives, alam mo kung saan ka pupunta. So it's important when you're creating a workflow optimization. And last but not the least is attention to details. Okay, so attention to details is a very important organization skills. Bakit? Okay, as a construction virtual assistant, your role is very crucial because you oversee so much of everything in your job. As I've said earlier, you can be you will be wearing many hats. Okay, today you probably be the project coordinator. Tomorrow you'll probably be doing timekeeping for your crew, administrative works, communicate with the stakeholders, communicate with the customers, with the clients. So different roles that you might be handling as a construction virtual assistant. But in order for you to become very efficient, you need to have attention to details. You must be very keen when it comes to details, especially when it comes to construction documents, okay? Kailangan mo ma-proofread yan, kailangan mo tignan yung nasa plano kasi sa US, just to tell you guys, based on experience, magpapasa kami ng construction documents, no, to get permit. Okay? Now, if pagkapasa namin yan and comes the inspection, okay, pag hindi nagtugma yung nasa construction documents at yung nanditong ginagawa ni, let's say, ni plumber, okay? Hindi nasa tamang lugar yung kung ano or kung ano yung nakalagay sa construction documents, hindi siya nagmamatch dun sa actual na ginawa ng tao, hindi papasa yung inspection. And in the US, if it's a re-inspection, there's a fee. Okay? So, there's a fee. So, ganun yung process nila. So, that's the reason why it's very important that you should have ano, kailangan meron kang an eye to detail. Okay? Okay. The fifth is familiarity with construction compliance and safety. So this one, it refers to the adherence to laws, regulations, standards, and codes that govern construction practices. Okay. It ensures the construction projects are safe, structurally sound, environmentally responsible, and legally permissible. Compliance is essential to protect public health, safety, and the integrity of the built environment. Okay, so as a construction virtual assistant, part of your role is to know the codes, the regulations, and the standards of the country or the state you will be working for. Okay? So, ako noon, when I was working in the US kasi, every state have different codes, okay? So, hindi pare-pareho ang codes nila kasi nga katulad kanina, um, sa what's this? Sa Florida, meron silang mga floodplain, gano'n. So, iba-iba ang codes ng ibang state sa US. So, kailangan aware ka doon, kailangan alam mo yung mga codes. ng bawat state or ng country that you'll be working for. So, as a construction virtual assistant, important yan because before you submit the construction documents, you will also have to, you know, read the plans, read the documents to make sure that it complies with the safety and standards of the construction. Okay. And not only that, also, even if you'll be working remotely, okay, the people working on site should be adhering to the laws and regulation when it comes to safety. So they should be wearing the boots, the safety or the hard hats, and when they're doing the welding, kailangan gumagamit sila ng parang goggles. So those are just the basics, okay? So dapat alam natin 'yon. Dapat we will enforce our crew to practice safety and compliance on site. And we have the power to do that, okay? Even if our job is just a construction virtual assistant, we have the power to do that because, as I've said earlier, we will be wearing so many hats. So sometimes, in the absence of the construction project manager, we will step into that role and be the construction project manager in his absence. Okay, so we have to be familiar with the safety and compliance in the construction site because it's very essential, and it's going to in other countries. Okay, just to give you a background. Okay, if you fail just one safety compliance, wala, hirap ka na dyan. Okay, so as a construction virtual assistant, you have to know all of these things. Kasi sometimes, si contractor, sobrang busy na yan sa paghahanap ng ibang mga projects. So, ikaw, as a construction virtual assistant or as his assistant, probably, you have to be very, um, you have to step up. Okay, you have to step up and own the company. When I say own the responsibilities, okay, at all cost. Um, Ganun kasi ang sistema dun. Ganun ang sistema when you're working overseas and remotely. So, kailangan medyo step up tayo ng step up. Kasi ganun ang competition sa ganitong klase ng industry. And as I've said earlier, the more skills you know, the valuable you are. So, if kaya natin mag-learn ng mga mas maraming skills, the better. Okay? So, just to give you a conclusion of this training, day one, okay, your role as a construction virtual assistant plays a crucial role in the success of the project. Your task varies and you wear many hats, therefore, you must be very flexible and versatile. You have to equip yourself with skills that will make you very useful in the company. And as I've said, always, the more skills you have, the more valuable you become in the company. Remember that your role is not only to support the project management team, you're also responsible to effectively communicate within everyone in the team. So, kailangan marunong tayong makipag-usap. You should know what's going on in each project, what stages and what construction phase a current project is. You know when to start and the end. In short, you should be familiar with all the project history and its future. Okay? Your efficiency in the use of construction management software tools, your knowledge of the industry terminology, client relation skills will shape you to become a remote construction powerhouse. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for your time. And again, this is Sam Dailisan, your remote construction powerhouse coach. I'll see you on our day two of training, and that's going to be probably next week. Thank you so much.